Alright, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today, and the first thing that I want to talk about is Wright's Counsel rebuts forgery evidence in ongoing lawsuit. Counsel, meaning basically people he works with. So, believable? Who knows? Wright's ongoing contempt hearing failed to reach a sanctions verdict on August 5th as part of a $10 billion lawsuit by Ira Kleiman, brother of Wright's former business partner Dave Kleiman, who's suspected of being Satoshi himself. Wright previously failed to disclose a complete list of his Bitcoin holdings acquired prior to December 31st, 2013. This has been going on for quite a while. The judge wants to throw him in contempt by not showing his Bitcoin holdings. Wright claims, I can't show you them because half of the private keys belong to this person and that person and this person, and basically can't prove that these early addresses that he's sort of pulled out of a hat, of course without proof, that are actually his. So these holdings may contain Bitcoin collectively mined by Wright and Kleiman, may be held in 1.1 million Bitcoin trust. At the heart of the case, Wright has claimed the access to the trust is limited through a complicated cryptographic scheme. So convenient. Wright's defense, led by Amanda McGovern of Rivero Mestre, I don't know, deposed Stephen Shatters, I could talk, Chief Technology Officer of nChain, so basically somebody who works with, to lay groundwork why the self-declared inventor of Bitcoin, Wright, has been unable to provide complete information regarding his earliest acquired Bitcoin. Shatters, who has publicly affirmed Wright's claim to be the pseudo-anonymous Satoshi Nakamoto, testified that beginning sometime in June, he began to work on extracting possible holdings. Using 6 criteria, he winnowed down potential addresses to around 27,000 on Wright's behalf. Totally. Shatters testified he had only examined addresses between January 3rd, 2009 and August 21st, 2010 that were unspent, were used only once, contained a particular paid-to-public script pattern, and showed a nonce value between 0 and 58. Despite the rigid criteria, Shatters also testified his algorithm contained a quirk. A little quirk, just a little quirk, don't mind that little guy, that may have included addresses that do not belong to Wright. Well, you can't really prove that the addresses belong to Wright in the first place, considering he doesn't have the private keys to them, which basically... So which ones do you not know that belong to Wright? He allegedly made this discovery in the days leading up to the hearing. Just days leading up to the hearing, that's all. Just, I mean, right in the nick of time. Just right, just a little quirk, don't mind that. As part of the cross-examination, the prosecution probed Shatters regarding his travel expenses to and from the June 28th hearing, at which Wright testified, seemingly to indicate Shatters may have been paid for his efforts. Uh-oh. Nah, he's not going to get paid for his efforts. He works with him, so of course he's, not going to be, of course he's not going to be biased at all. He only works with him, so it's not, not a big deal. Shatters declined a request for comment, and Wright did not appear in court. Go figure. So, as part of the civil and criminal hearings, the prosecution called Matthew J. Edmond, director of Berkeley Research Group, as an expert witness in metadata and cryptography. According to his testimony, a number of emails and bit messages purportedly sent between Kleiman and Wright, as well as documents pertaining to the Tulip Trust, show evidence of tampering. Oh, who'd have thought? Though Edmond spoke to inconsistencies found between multiple versions of documents, including in timestamps and email headers, he was also unable to speak to the possible motivation behind the changes and therefore could not reasonably assume the documents show evidence of fraud. Edmond frequently spoke to circumstantial evidence that suggests Wright manipulated documents to weave a narrative around the establishment and chain of custody of the Tulip Trust. Through the defense was able to push back during a cross-examination. Wright's counsel argued that though metadata may place an email as having been edited in Eastern Australia's time zone, where Wright was residing at the time, it does not conclusively speak to who or why an edit was made. Oh, geez. Similar, the defense argued an invoice relating to the Tulip Trust may have been a template after hearing Edmond opine the document was inauthentic for showing signs of editing. As it stands, a hearing has been scheduled for August 26th, where both defense and prosecution will give their closing arguments. Judge Reinhardt may determine a remedy for contempt of court. So again, nothing has been proven at all. This is the biggest. This is basically a kangaroo court at the moment. Kleiman saying, hey, you owe us all this Bitcoin. Wright saying, yeah, well, no, I don't think so. It's supposed to all go to me. I'm Satoshi. And again, saying that he's Satoshi or not has absolutely nothing to do with this. If there is 1.1 million Bitcoin, it literally is irrelevant whether if Wright is actually Satoshi or not. Either way, the documents say that this family should have half of it or whatever. It's just amazing. There is still no proof at all. Even if you want to go total devil's advocate, even on the Kleiman side, it's just based on this one Tulip Trust document that. Who knows if it's even real or not. So the judge wants to throw Wright in jail for contempt of court, and on August 26th, they're going to give their final argument. So this court case should actually be over pretty soon, probably within a month or two after that. Who knows? But the closing arguments will be on August 26th, so I can't wait for that. But moving on to different news, new Coinbase listing candidates show mixed results. So after the popular exchange on Monday announced that it's exploring the addition of 8 new digital assets for its trading platform, half of them registered stronger gains, while some of them were even in the red earlier today. Before Bitcoin rallied above 12,000 and altcoins moved higher also. Per Coinbase's announcement, the assets currently under consideration are Algorand, Cosmos, Dash, which probably a long time coming on Dash, although I've heard people criticize Dash, and even I do a little bit, just because Dash has had no development whatsoever. It's kind of like Litecoin. Both of them have had virtually zero development in a very long time. Decred, Matic Network, Harmony, Ontology, and Waves to Coinbase, which could be interesting. There may be some like Coinbase earn programs with those, which are essentially just free money. So those are always good, but could help pump the price, could give a little bit of extra volume and liquidity to these coins. So why not? So if you happen to hold on to any of those, you're probably lucky, because they're probably going to pump just a little bit with these announcements, etc., and the addition to Coinbase if they do decide to add these. But moving on from that, not much to talk about other than the coin names themselves. Max Keiser of the Max Keiser Report predicts Bitcoin dominance and death of altcoins. So Bitcoin maximalist and former Wall Street trader Max Keiser of the kooky Max Keiser Report, Max Keiser, has recently claimed that Bitcoin dominance is heading to 80% and that altcoins are dying, further urging the public to rotate out of other crypto assets and into Bitcoin. Now, I'm not sure if I entirely agree with that, as there has been a lot of development with altcoins over the years here. And it isn't like 2017 where they just explode because, hey, look, a new altcoin, look, a new proof of work coin, it's gotta be good, so it's gonna go up to $10 for whatever reason. So it isn't that anymore. So I don't think it's as crazy as saying that altcoins are dying. Now, a lot of them probably will die off when it's shown that their development is just not so good. But I think, eventually here we're gonna start seeing some truly good altcoins. Hopefully, the crypto market isn't overshadowed, if you will, by the fact that corporate coins are going to be coming along here. Facebook coin, JPM coin, which the average user can't get a hold of, but Walmart is thinking about making a stable coin, and we're going to see a lot of them soon. So Bitcoin dominant 68.2%. He says, heading to 80% as alts die in favor of BTC. Don't be the last to rotate out of alts. Well, I still think some alts are undervalued at the moment, particularly Ethereum. Ethereum, like I said in my last video, if you hadn't watched that, I've shown that there's about 204,000 smart contracts, tokens, etc. on the Ethereum blockchain. And some of those include like Binance coin and things like that. Some of these coins have billions of dollars in market cap, hundreds of millions of dollars market cap, that are sort of riding on Ethereum. A lot of coins start off as an ERC20 token, then find their own blockchain and their own little place in the world on their own. And they all have Ethereum to thank for that. And there's a few others, I suppose, as well. But yeah, everybody is talking about Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. and nothing really else. And that kind of, leads me to skip the next article for just a second. We'll go right back to it. But, 2019 is a totally different year. 2018 was a year of nothing. Virtually nothing happened. Let's be real. In 2018, the prices just decreased all year. It was sort of the culling of a lot of alts that I don't think will ever return so well. It was sort of the test of alts, and a lot of them failed that test and didn't really see any good development. Honestly, 2018 has to be hands down one of the most boring years of crypto, whereas 2017 was sort of a fluke, and it was just based on hype and referral links and BitConnect and Genesis mining. It was the real explosion, and I think I put BitConnect at the absolute top of what drove the crypto market in 2017, which is crazy. But if you go back, I mean, you can still find them on YouTube today. A lot of people deleted those videos, but you could still find tons of them where people just had 18 views and they were making videos on BitConnect. Every single person on YouTube was basically making videos about it and getting people to sign up. And a lot of people even told me sometimes in my live streams or on Discord or in messages that the reason they got into crypto was BitConnect, and it was a mistake on their part. And a lot of people, everybody knows that it was a mistake. But, it's what got people into crypto. So I think it was a total fluke. And, 2019 is a different year. Now we have institutions, we have mainstream television talking about it all the time. And this is just a few examples. So one of them is, Bloom on CNBC here with Anthony Pompliano. And they're all talking about, and this was just August 6th. This was, what is that? I mean, yesterday, essentially, talking about, is Bitcoin a good hedge? A crypto expert explains why Bitcoin is a good hedge against global turmoil. I watched this. It was actually kind of a good watch. Here we have Bitcoin casually mentioned as a safe haven on Bloomberg's The Open, and everybody talking about Bitcoin there. You can see here just fast money Bitcoin all on CNBC here, just Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. This is actual TV, which, in 2018 it was talked about a few times, here and there, but now it's virtually every day you can see Bitcoin on these, financial talk shows and stuff like that. Here's another one, Tom Lee on CNBC. So this is a totally different year. And, a lot of people think, there's a lot of people that, won't really buy into Bitcoin until they see it on TV like this. There's a lot of people that don't trust it. There's a lot of people that don't even hear about it, period. You could probably knock on your neighbor's door and be like, hey, do you have Bitcoin? And be like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it. Or isn't that like that illegal coin? Or, isn't that coin everybody loses or everybody gains money on? There's so little education out there. And I still think, I will never forget this comment on my channel. And I was talking about how Coinstar had implemented BTC. You can buy BTC at a Coinstar machine. For anybody that doesn't know what a Coinstar machine, you bring a bunch of change. It filters out all your change for you. It's a little machine, usually in grocery stores. And then you get a little receipt. You go up to the cash register and you get your $100 that you had in change or something like that. It takes a fee. But now you can buy Bitcoin with money. You can't do it with your change. You have to get the money first, and then so it's probably a lot of fees. I think I actually plan on making a video of buying Bitcoin that way, just to see the fees and how it is, just for fun. But I made a video on that, and somebody commented, "Oh wow, now the scam is something like that. The scam is even bigger." You can still find it on my channel somewhere, and that now it's now people are trying to get little old granny who went and spent her $50 in change, and now she goes to buy Bitcoin and she has to use her credit card for the next $5,000. So clearly this person thought that to buy Bitcoin, you have to buy one full Bitcoin at $5,000 or whatever it was at the time, which is totally untrue. This person genuinely thought that you put your change in this machine and then you have to put up the rest of the cash. You have to cough up the rest of the cash for an entire Bitcoin. And some people literally still think of that way, that, they see Bitcoin at $10,000. They see Bitcoin at $12,000. They say, wow, that's really expensive. I'd have to put $12,000 to get this digital coin. What do I even do with it? And it's essentially as good as gold. If people put money into this and it costs $12,000 and you hold on to it, you essentially have $12,000 in this digital thing that you could just move around at will. You could give it to somebody, you could spend it on something, you could send it across the border, you can split it into small payments, and it's as good as gold, but essentially we could send it through fiber optic lines, just like a gold bar. What do I do with this? Well, that's an even better question than Bitcoin, because what are you going to do with this, your gigantic gold bar? Who are you even going to sell it to? And better question, where'd you get a gigantic gold bar from? So it's kind of like that. And there's a lot more to Bitcoin than that. But again, there's just so much, so little education, if you will. And these shows actually help people to go, this Bitcoin thing, and Google it. And that's why Bitcoin Google searches are up, especially when the price goes up as well. But moving on here. Man takes a Bitcoin miner seller to tribunal over electricity bill and wins. This is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in a while. A Malta-based Bitcoin miner has taken action after getting a shock when he received his electricity bill, because apparently he's not a grown man and doesn't know how much his electricity bill is going to be or how to calculate anything. So good job for basically being a man-child and not understanding your electricity bill. As reported by Malta today, the unnamed man had bought a Bitcoin miner from local IT group, but found that the power costs were greater than the value of the Bitcoin earned by mining with the device. He therefore took his complaint to Malta's Consumer Claims Tribunal, saying that the unspecified $2,900 miner was noisy and did not make profit. So what miner would be $2,900? S9s are lower than that, so maybe like 11 S15 miner would be $2,900. Not actually sure. But Dario Dunkel, CEO of 3 Group that was purchased from, did not contest a complaint and decided that the customer should be refunded $2,240. Apparently, didn't get all of his money back. However, since the decision, the Consumer Claims Tribunal had issued a warning against Dario, said not honor the decision delivered by the Consumer Claims Tribunal. So the balance between running costs, crypto prices, and the amount of cryptocurrency earned by mining is the fundamental factor that controls the mining of proof-of-work blockchains. So basically, this person bought a miner and then was like, hey, so returning it is one thing, I suppose, but then going to your claims tribunal, your government essentially, to get your money back is another thing. There's no reason that you should ever buy a miner and not know how much money it makes you, how much Bitcoin it produces per day, because there's plenty of calculators online. You could just literally Google it, Bitcoin calculator, and show, Bitcoin mining calculator. And, if your miner produces 15 terahash or 20 terahash, 25, whatever, you could put that in and then put your electricity rate, which you should know. Or if you don't know it, fair enough. If you're just the kind of person that just pays your electricity bill, like whatever, you can just look at your electricity bill and it'll say that you pay 10 cents a kilowatt, that you pay 13 cents a kilowatt or 8 cents a kilowatt, this thing or this, that, or the other thing. And you can just put those in the mining calculator and see how much you're going to make a day. And it's pretty accurate. So obviously didn't do his homework and was just like, hey, this Bitcoin thing, $2,900. Wow, that's a steal. So that's another thing. Again, low education in Bitcoin, and I try my best, and I think all YouTubers try their best, but it just doesn't get out there as much. Even if you look at the biggest crypto YouTubers channels, they really don't get that many views. Some of even the biggest ones are 10, 20, 30,000 views per video, and some videos, like some of my old tutorial videos have quite a bit of views. But for the most part, nobody is really going out there and educating themselves. And you don't have to go to a YouTuber to do that. You could just Google. You can do all sorts of things. But there is a crisis of education, of lack of education in the crypto world, for sure. People that thinking you have to buy whole Bitcoins. People not understanding what Bitcoin is. people buying miners and going, hey, look, my electricity bill went up. What? I didn't look at anything. So you didn't look at anything? You just paid $2,900 for this thing and plugged it in and turned it on? How did you even set it up? How did you even set it up at all? I mean, setting up an S9 miner isn't just plugging it in and pressing. You got to do more than that. I mean, you got to it's sort of like accessing your router where you type in your gateway, etc., and you can get access to it. But I mean, you got to do a little bit of work. And so you didn't look at the electricity or the hash rate or the price of Bitcoin or the overall hash rate of Bitcoin or how much your miner would make. You didn't look at nothing. Exactly. Lack of education in the crypto world. So moving on to CoinMarketCap here, $303 billion market cap, 11,584. We are starting to curve down a little bit. Some alts going way down. XRP took a huge hit today, and it's since curved just up a little bit. So it was down like 4 or 5% for whatever reason. And altcoins kind of going back downhill now. We reached about 12,200 or so, and which was a pretty good price, but it seems like people were carving off the top, which is usually the case. You reach a new 1,000 mark, 12,000, 13, 14. And people typically sell off. They're not quite willing. There's a lot less people willing to buy in at that time. It's just a little too high for them. And so less and less people buying in, more and more people starting to go, oh, I should sell now. Another thing I want to talk about that I've talked about quite a bit over the channel is once we reach 15 to 20,000, which we haven't reached since the bear market went down in late 2017 and starting in 2018 January or so. We haven't reached that price since, and we almost reached it. We reached about 14,000 a couple weeks ago, just about. And so we haven't reached that 15, that critical mark. And that's when a lot of people bought in. You have to think about it. Somebody had to buy in at 17. Somebody had to buy in at 18,000. Somebody had to buy in at 19,900 and some dollars. There was that guy. A lot of people. That's when the hype really was kicking in real late 2017 when the price was shooting up $1,000 a day. Of course, everybody's FOMOing as fast as possible through credit cards, everything. Bank wires to get that money in there to get a part of that growth, and it was the wrong time to do that. And so there's probably a lot of people now. A lot of people might have sold off by now. They might have bought in at 18,000 and sold at 10,000. Said, screw it. I don't think it's ever going back up. I'm just gonna get my money. It was a mistake. I can get some of my money back. It's no problem, right? But a lot of people, probably never sold. They were like, hey, if it doesn't reach 18,000 again, I'm not selling. I'm not losing money. So when this price goes back up to 16 to 20,000 in that region, we're going to see some volatility, I think, unlike we've ever seen, because there's going to be a lot of people, as soon as it hits that break-even price, they've waited 2 years, almost 2 years now, probably by then, and they're going to say, I'm out. I'm cutting even. I have waited 2 years to get my money back. There's going to be a lot of impatient people, and there's going to be a horrendous amounts of selling and rebuying as it's going back up. So we're going to see something pretty wacky for sure. Mark my words on that one. After 15, 16,000, we're going to see some tremendous volatility in Bitcoin as people are just selling off en masse, selling to people who are willing to buy. And as soon as it reaches another $50 higher than that, it's going to reach a new set of people who bought in at that price 2 years ago, and they're going to sell. Some people, of course, going to continue hodling through to make that additional money. But it's going to be pretty wild. But that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe, like, share the video. It helps me out a ton if you do that. My social media is in the description below. Make sure you follow me on those if you get the opportunity to do so. But I hope you all enjoyed it. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.